back to the Glazov gang. I'm Donnie Darwish, filling in for Jamie Glazov. And today we have a surprise for you. I have my guest and my dear friend is Samira Tamer. She is an activist and an LA ACT chapter leader. She's also a real patriot and started being an activist after 9/11. Yes. Like all of us. We all learned to do what we're doing after 9/11. Her parents moved to the United States in the early 20th century from Lebanon. So she's originally, she's born here, but her parents came from Lebanon. At that time, Lebanon was majority Christian country. Today, Lebanon is a majority Muslim country. Welcome, Samira.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Nice to see you again.
Glazov gang. And I want to start by just give me an idea, what are your activities since you started doing what you're doing? And why are you doing what you're doing?
Well, mainly, the person who started ACT, Brigitte Gabriel, is also Lebanese.
Yes.
A Lebanese Christian. And so when she put the word out that she wanted to have chapter leaders, I, of course, volunteered right away. So it's been about 7 years that I've been doing this. And the most important thing that we do, I think, because ACT is a grassroots organization involved with the security of our country. And because of 9/11, our country changed. We're basically at war. Yeah. That's what it is. People don't want to admit it, but that's what we are doing right now, is we are in a war. And our mission is to educate people about Islam, what it means, why the 19 airline terrorists that put the airlines into our our towers and created all this other havoc with us. Why it is that they did that. Why is it that they were Muslims? They weren't Christians, they weren't Buddhists, they weren't anything else, they were Muslims. And they were educated. They weren't poor. So get rid of that notion.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's our mission, is to educate people as to the truth about Islamic extremists. And it's approximately, right now, out of the 1.3 billion Muslims in the world, you know this as well as I do, they say anywhere between 10 to 20% are extremists. That's a lot of people.
Actually, there's a statistic, recent poll in the UK, I think, one out of 7 Muslims in Great Britain is for ISIS, on the side of ISIS, an organization that's beheading its way all through Syria and Iraq.
They're at the doors of Lebanon, too.
And the whole area. Yeah. They're scaring the whole area. They're beheading. And have you seen the pictures of the beheadings?
Yes.
And
well, I can't watch them, but I'm aware of them.
It is unbelievable what they're doing it in front of children, playing soccer with heads of their Muslim.
I just happen to have this.
Muslims. So these are brochures. Tell me, what are these brochures?
Well, the other thing that we're doing is...
show it to the camera.
We are going to the 3rd Street Promenade, which is a very famous shopping area in Santa Monica, and it's a very busy place. And we set up a table, and we have these brochures that we pass out, and we talk to people. And I have to tell you that the people that know what we are doing and understand it come up to us, and they kiss us and hug us and thank us for what we're doing. But I have to say, more than 50% of the people on the promenade are Muslim.
Yes.
And they come up to us, and they don't hug us or kiss us or thank us. They call us names, and they say we're spreading hate. And we give them any one of these brochures. For example, I have one on women in Islam. And I will give this brochure to a woman, and I will say, please read it. and please email me. My email is on the back. And tell me if there's anything in this that is not true, that is a lie, that is a, we've never gotten an email. Now, whether they, I mean, they could be throwing them in the trash.
Yeah.
I don't know. But nevertheless, we've never gotten anything on there because everything is documented. It either comes from the Quran or it comes from the Hadith or it comes from the
it's documented.
You know, it's all documented.
That's the same problem I have in my books. Everything I write is just quotations. Right. A lot of times it's just quotations from the Quran, from the Hadith, from the book called Sirat Rasulullah, which is the life story of Muhammad. And Muslims write me emails accusing me of lying, but I keep asking them, please point exactly to what page number and what did I say that is a lie. And it's the same thing. They don't want to talk about, they want to just call you names. And Samira, I have heard from you about 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. I heard about it, but I've never been there. I was never there. However, a few weeks ago, I visited 3rd Street Promenade on Saturday night, and I was shocked. I thought you were exaggerating maybe a little bit or something. As I walked, I thought I was in an Arab souk.
Yes.
Souk in Arabic means market. Women are in full burqas, bearded men surrounding, and they were surrounding a pastor who was just speaking.
Louis Lionheart.
Louis Lionheart. And they were surrounding him, and they were calling him names, calling him a liar. And all the man was doing was putting quotations from the Quran and trying to get into an honest dialogue with people. And they were calling him all kinds of names. I felt so, and I'm usually a very calm person by nature, but for the first time ever, I felt so angry that this man is being abused like that. So I ran to the microphone. He has a microphone for people to actually question him.
Right.
So I went to that microphone and I said, this man, everything he said is right. And if you disagree, don't call him names. Just say that these facts are so and so, and that's not what it is. But you're just calling him names. It is the same tactic. Same tactic with you, same tactic with me, same tactic with Lois, Pastor Lois. And as I was speaking, it was for the first time ever, I was looking behind me scared, because I was surrounded by bearded men who were looking at me with disdain and with, I was for the first time scared. And I am really scared for America, because people who use lying as a tool is just, that idea just scares me. So what do you think? What can we do to inform Americans who have no clue about this ideology that we understand?
It's true.
Because we come from that part of the world.
We do dialogue with a lot of people that have absolutely no notion as to what's going on. Mm-hmm. And they will stand there and we give them brochures and we tell them if they have questions to email us. Some do. As a matter of fact, I've picked up a lot of people from the Promenade to attend the ACT chapter meetings.
Oh.
So a lot of people, that I've given them my card and they've contacted me and said, please let me know when you're having a meeting. And they have come to the meetings. So this is the one step. We don't want to give this up. We found out that we're the only ones in the entire nation that is doing this. Mm-hmm. This whole thing sprung from ACT. I mean, they were all ACT chapter, either leaders or members. Mm-hmm. And it's called the Counter Jihad Coalition, CJC for short.
Yes.
And
you are doing great work. You and Steve.
Yes.
And all the rest of the group
Chris,
are just
Steve.
amazing. What
Yes.
you're doing are amazing. You're doing these, and there is no financial help to you
No.
whatsoever. All of these brochures, actually, one of them is my article, Sharia for Dummies.
We gave you the. We
Yes.
said where it came from.
Yeah, of course, I know.
Yeah.
And they are just amazing. And in a nutshell, people can know what.
By the
what
way,
they
this
need to
is
know.
just a small portion. We have about 14 different tri-folded pass-outs that we have. So
Yes.
and they're very informative. And like I said, every single one of them is well documented.
I am really surprised. The number of Muslims in Southern California is big, but it's not as big as like when I was walking in 3rd Street Promenade, I noticed it was like the majority of people were Muslims walking in the street. And one woman was actually with this.
Yeah,
like,
we have many Saudis that come.
Yeah, but I don't understand, how did they agree on that place?
I was told a couple of things. First of all, word of mouth. Second of all, I was told that the imams tell their congregation to go to the 3rd Street Promenade and make themselves visible so people will get used to seeing them around.
Yes.
I've heard this. But they
You-
come from as far away
Absolutely
as Lancaster, Bakersfield, San Diego, Orange County, Riverside. They are coming long distances. And they're coming for an evening, a
Yeah.
Saturday evening.
Just to walk and have a Starbucks. That's all they do. Let me tell you, when I moved to America, I was 30 years old. And I considered myself still a Muslim at that time. I never went to a mosque in the Middle East because, as you know, in the Middle East, women are forbidden from going to mosques. And if they go, they get thrown in a room
get
by themselves.
shoved over to the side.
Yeah. So I never went to a mosque in the Middle East. But when I came to America, I heard that Muslims go to mosques. Muslim women go to mosques in America. So I thought, wow, how civilized. I'm going to start going to mosque. I went to a mosque, and the first thing they told us, wear your hijab with pride and be visible and assert your appearance as Muslim. We are here to Islamize America. We were told this a lot.
And that was a long time ago,
And that
right?
was that was in 1980.
There you go.
And 79, 80. And I was shocked because I never wore a head cover in the Middle East. Never. My mother never wore a head cover. My grandmother never wore a head cover. And I was told by...
You were progressive.
Yeah. Actually, thanks to the British and the French who
That's
ruled
right.
the Middle East at that time. And they are the ones who liberated, modernized the Middle East. But when oil money came in the mid-50s and the French and the British left, that's when Islamism conquered. But I was shocked that they told us to wear this in America. I told them, I never wore this kind of clothes in the Middle East. Why should I wear it in America? They told me, to be a good Muslim, you have to wear it, you have to be visible, and if you ever feel like praying in the middle of the street in America, fall and get a group and pray in public because we want to show our religion in public. Prayers in Islam is not like prayers in... You're a Christian from... parents from the Middle East. But you know, prayers in the Middle East is different from Christian prayers. What do Muslims do to pray in the Middle East and in France in the streets of... How do they exhibit their prayers?
I know. Well, they get down on their knees and face Mecca.
In the middle of the street.
Yeah, in the middle, wherever.
Yeah.
I had a hard time maneuvering around the prayer people in Egypt when we were there, and this
Yeah.
was in 2007.
And I heard...
But I'll tell you something.
Uh-huh.
This is a very interesting thing because you're saying this was, what, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
When I was a student at UCLA, I was part of the Arab Student Association.
Uh-huh.
This was an organization. This was pre-Muslim Student Association.
Yeah, pre that
This
time.
was a party organization. We would get together and we would have
Cook-
haflis, parties,
Falafel.
and cooking and so on. I dated an Israeli.
Uh-huh.
I was the Arab Student Association secretary.
Uh-huh.
They found out I was dating an Israeli, and they said, I cannot do that. I am no longer
A
part
member.
of the organization.
Yeah.
Now that, I'm going to give
That
away
was a
my
wake-up-
age now.
a wake-up
That
call.
was just before the Muslim Student Association came forward.
Yes.
It was right at the transition. And that, as you know, came from the Ikhwan, the
Yes.
Muslim Brotherhood. And that was the first notion of what this extremist stuff is.
Yeah, exactly.
So I left and I took it. I looked at them. I
You
looked at
learned
the
the lesson
president.
'cause you were born
well, I
here.
told him. I said, if you're going to have that attitude, you will never have peace in the Middle East, and you will always remain the way you are.
I
And
could
look what
never
happened.
marry my Christian husband in
Oh,
Egypt.
that's right.
I couldn't get married. We wanted to get married
That's right.
when I was 22. We had to wait for 7 years to get a visa to get out of the country so I can get married. Only
I
in
know.
America could I marry a Christian. There is one thing before we end that really, really scared me, terrified me. I was watching the Ferguson riots, and in the background, I saw a sign by somebody in the riots saying, ISIS is here, which is the Islamic State is here. What does the American people think? Do they understand?
No,
Do
No.
they understand?
no clue.
No clue.
No clue.
We understand what that means, but the American people don't understand, and we want to alert them. The problem is right now the Middle East is broken. I mean, divided. There are some countries who are afraid of ISIS, some people who are not. But if ISIS wins, in my opinion, the moderates will join them.
Of course.
And the next step will be conquering the
course.
West. How do we convince America that ISIS is detrimental for Western values and democracy?
I'll tell you something. We have to get into the schools, just as like they are indoctrinating children in the schools with multiculturalism and all of that. They have to know the truth. We have been trying very hard to change that 7th grade history book that the 7th graders use.
Yeah.
It's the standard text for history. It devotes 4 whitewashed chapters on Islam.
Yes.
4.
They're
Do you know how
teaching
much? Do you know how
Islam.
much they devote to Christianity?
Yeah,
16 pages.
yeah.
And about a paragraph to Judaism.
And it's all teaching about Islam. That's Islam is the
Totally,
religion of peace.
exactly.
It's like I'm reading Islamic propaganda in the Arab world, and I'm reading it right here in American schools. The Arab propaganda. Samira, I want to thank you. We want to conclude.
Thank you.
I really wish I could invite you for another hour, but we have to end, and I want to thank Jamie Glazov for giving me the opportunity to fill in for him. Thank you, Jamie, and see
Thank
you
you,
soon.
Jamie.
And bye-bye. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.